Observer's Log, Supplemental. Welcome to part two of our observation of Star Trek Discovery. I am one of your observers, Jay Clark, the other observer, Trekkie B47, better known as Eric Berry. We're taking a look at every iteration there is of Star Trek on this road to a 60th anniversary celebration. And so you have met us right now at part two of our look at Star Trek Discovery. Hopefully, you've looked at part one. But
Yeah,
there was just such a lot here. Eric suggested we do split it up, and we have because, as you say, it is a completely different show. So, sir, completely different. How, may I just ask? Off jump.
sure. So, I mean, at the end of season two, Discovery and Michael Burnham literally went 930 years into the future, into the 32nd century, which is completely beyond anything else that we saw in Star Trek canon before. The farthest we've ever seen into the future was probably on Voyager because there's a 29th century time
Right, yeah.
ship. But
Had
this is
mentioned of the temporal Cold War, the
the
temporal
Temporal
wars in the
Wars, which
31st.
which is what Enterprise, dealt with and touched on. So we're beyond all that. In and right 100 years after an event called the Burn. Season three is all about what the burn is, and also season three helps us get acclimated to this new future. The Federation is different, the alliances are different, Discovery becomes different, the crew becomes different, different members of the crew start to happen. We're introduced to new characters, and so the whole reason we broke up Discovery into two parts was because if we did it in one part, the episode would be like 5 hours long, and no one wants to listen to a 5 hour long podcast. We don't want to record a 5 hour long
I ain't got
podcast
five
and then
hours straight
suddenly,
to do that.
yeah. But Star Trek Discovery seasons 3 through 5 are at its core almost a different show.
I'd almost say three and four are one show. Five is in itself another.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
We'll,
pin
we'll
there,
get
pin
there.
there, pin there.
But yeah, and the just the evolution of the characters were introduced, and season three almost feels like a new first season in a way because you have to introduce all of those future elements.
Everybody was calling it a reset. Like Soniqua,
Yeah,
I think at the beginning of this season and even season four was like, "Yep, it's a brand new show." So it's like it's a brand new show to them.
yeah, exactly. And um yeah, and so I was just telling Jason right before this that seasons 3 and 4 and 5 were fresher in my mind because I had actually delayed watching them. Actually, the truth is, like,
Let me ask you, because you brought that up in part
yeah,
one. What
yeah.
is you said there is a point where you stop. So before we really get into it, I just want to know what is the point that you were like, "Yep, that's it."
So I think it was, where was it? It was that season? It was season 4.
I can see
Where
that.
where was season 4 when Tilly was like tramping around with the cadets?
Yes, yes, and they had that away mission, that training thing on like the icy plant. Yeah, yep, that's season four. About halfway
So
through.
so that was in 2021 because um so here's the thing. Towards the end of 2021, that's when Teresa was pregnant with
Okay.
RJ because he was born in June of 2022, and so part of it was like a time thing. And wasn't Picard coming out in the
Picard
same?
Picard is already out at this point. One for season one of Picard.
Was
So
already out.
so at this because at this point, one of the biggest things about this, you have a big gap between season two. and season three. Season two ended in
That's
April
right.
of 2019. Season three didn't air until October of 2020, but it's not as bad because in between that, you did have season one of Picard air. So, yeah.
So I remember because Teresa was pregnant, and yeah, because even season three, or I mean season four, like they did like or they did 7 episodes until the end of 2021, like December 30th. Then they took a 2 month break and came back in February. Well, by that point, for me, whatever they left off, like that season seven, like the DMA and the 10C and all that stuff, it was week to week, it was frustrating because I felt like the story was such a slow burn, and it was one of those let's make a whole mystery season. And that's fine, but the first half of season 4 didn't hold my interest enough to like it became lesser of a priority. So as life was happening and getting
Okay.
busier, it just kind of fell off our radar.
No, I see what you mean because it's the same problem that happened with season three, whereas we know what the end has to be. You let us know off jump. This is the big bad thing for the season. But the benefit that season three had is we're in this brand new time.
Right.
So what we're literally exploring again. We're being introduced to a bunch of new things, which will help kind of not make it seem as so,
And
a slow burn to get into what actually
a
happened.
slow burn.
Oh, burn for the burn, right.
Yeah. But season 3, because I literally, just finished watching it, and as a refresh, because seasons 4 and 5 were fresh in my mind because I was catching up in anticipation of this. And plus, with RJ being older now, Teresa and I could finish watching season 4. We actually rewatched season 4 because we left in the middle of it, and then 2 years went by and we completely forgot about it. And then we powered through season 5, or I think we caught up, and then we were watching season 5 live.
Okay.
And um, so yeah, with season 4 and 5, like we had essentially rewatched that, and season 3 was the furthest away from my memory,
Yeah.
so I wanted to rewatch that freshest for this. And this is something I've talked about on Ranger Command Power Hour before, like with comics. Sometimes these story arcs are better when you binge them instead of waiting week to week, or in the case of comics, month to month. Or in the case of Discovery, week to week, then 2 or 3 month break, and then the rest of the season. And so my rewatch of season 3, um, I actually enjoyed season 3 more, even though I still have, some issues with it.
Hmm.
But what I love about season 3 is how it does introduce the new characters, how it sets up the mystery at first, but also throughout the way, it's not like, oh, we have to like go from point A to point B to point C to point C, and now we have the burn. It was more of like just an undercooked mystery that Burnham was focused on, whereas the Federation was more concerned with using Discovery to connect back with
It
everyone else.
allowed Discovery to have a purpose. Let's put it that way. It allowed Discovery to have a purpose.
Yes, but also because we're being introduced to that. And, I remember at the time all the interviews saying, about Discovery's jump into the future, that the creatives were like free from canon of a
Yeah.
prequel, which I hate that phrasing, because then why did you even make Discovery a prequel in the first place?
Questions that need answers.
Absolutely. But my thing is, okay, now you're in this 31st century. Now we get all these cool things like the Guardian of Forever, like the Mirror Universe, like Commander Yor from an alternate universe of the Kelvin. Like, you get you get these callbacks to every iteration of Star Trek. You get things like the USS Nog, like the Voyager J, like the Orions and Andorians, like forming their own thing years into the future. You get all of these. You get to see a future Kaminar. You get to see that difference, like what happened at the end of season 2. By the end of season 3, now Saru gets to see what happened to his home planet, and now it's like a modern, society. And then things like Navarre, to have a deep cut episode title like Unification
Vacation 3.
3
When
was perfection to me.
When
Because,
season 3 is on it, it's on it.
yeah,
That is a clear example of it being
and
on.
things introducing things like the Kowat, the Kol Mawat, that was introduced in Picard, but now you're still taking it into the future, and
Right.
you're essentially Discovery now had this playground to use every bit of canon, but to seed it in ways that were interesting, or to at least tell you, and we'll get into things later in season 5 that tickled me because I'm an Enterprise guy, but I could see could be a problem for other people.
All that, somehow they still dropped the ball. Season 3 pissed me like, okay, whoo, oh, that's a lot this year. That's okay. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So, your new main cast for season 3 is, of course, Sonequa Martin Green back as Michael Burnham, Doug Jones as Saru, Anthony Rapp as Paul Stamets, Mary Wiseman as Sylvia Tilly, David Ajala, new joiner as Cleveland Booker, Wilson Cruz as Hugh Colbert, and it's Rachel Ansarelli as Nan. She is still with the crew.
We also have Blue Del Barrio as Adira Tall, new to the cast.
So recurring.
Oh,
That was
recurring.
the main. Recurring is Michelle Yeoh as Philippia Georgiou, Tig Notaro as Jet Reno, Blue Del Barrio as Adira Tall, Ian Alexander as Grey Tall, Oded Fair as Charles Vance.
Woo woo. Sorry, that's my middle name. I know
Okay.
Vance has a bad connotation right now.
You're
But
you're the only Vance that matters around here.
thank you. But Oded Fair, man, what a good actor. I'm so glad he's part of Star Trek.
Highlight of the season, and we will talk about why.
Yes.
Janet Kidder as Osira. That's your recurring cast.
Yeah.
Problem number one is at this point they're trying to tell us the show is about the crew, and they don't even get mentioned in the credits. Still,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
not even in the credits. But more of that later. Anywho, so another 13 episodes because that's just what it is. I will say one thing I liked about this season that I enjoyed is the fact that I was in New Zealand at the time and got to avoid every damn spoiler. Because at this point,
Wow.
like, because like it would drop at midnight, but for us that was like early afternoon, so it was perfect. Like we get to watch Star Trek, that evening, so it'd be like perfect, fresh, and be able to avoid all spoilers because it worked out time. Because yes, at this point, the process of trying to avoid what happens,
It was ridiculous.
we know too damn much from what we know they're producing to then when it comes out and people will tell you everything. You know too damn much going into the season.
And literally no shade to any reviewers or anything, but and because they have a job to do too. Like I know I run a news site, I run another podcast, I know how it is, but I swear to God, and I love Alex Perry over at TrekCore, but TrekCore would drop that episode review with all the spoilers and like highlights and like all the little canon connections like at 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning. I couldn't watch those episodes until the evening.
No, you tried to make it a good 20 hours almost.
Right, because they would literally premiere these at like 1 in the morning. And it's like, I want to watch this show with my wife, and I'm sorry, but we're not staying up until midnight, 1 a.m. just to watch Star Trek. I love me some Star Trek, but I'm also over 40 and I need my sleep.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest problems with the streaming areas. Is just that
Yep.
that it's just that it's not that same thing as, oh yeah, 8 p.m. on a Thursday. Or I don't know why they drop it at midnight. Why not drop it at, yep, okay,
And
8 p.m.
it's not
Eastern on
like
Thursday.
streaming services don't have the ability to do that. They would drop Last of Us at like 9 p.m. Like, set a time. And this is the problem not just with Discovery, but all Paramount Plus Star Trek
Yeah.
new premieres. They would, whatever it is, as soon as that midnight switch goes up, bing, it'd be like 1 in the morning. But as soon as midnight hits on the East Coast, like, it's free reign.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest issues, but certainly was able to skirt that here. Um, the Hope That Is You Part One. Let's just big picture ideas, of course. Yeah, Burnham lands.
Mm-hmm.
She's safe. We don't know if Disco makes it. Um, the note I have here: the mission was successful, but did Disco make it? Love that question, and they rushed the answer. Which I'm not mad at him for it because I'm like, oh, there's the what you were talking about, the universe setup. I like this. It's all new. There's nothing we know about. It's all new. A chance to explore what they get the world build here, whereas they were trying to fit into another world. The only issue here was when this episode is over, it's almost like the first season premiere. You're really not sure what the show is because it's this weird halfway point, and we don't know how they set up with the
And
biggest.
because we have to wait, until a whole nother week to
Right.
find out what happens to Discovery. And they don't even connect with Michael until the end of. So it's almost like episodes 1 and 2 should have been a two-part premiere on the same night.
Yeah, it would have maybe helped.
Yeah.
Big question I have here, which is, whew, when the systems our society are built on fail, what do we do? Which is an interesting question, which they touch on a little bit, but I feel
Sure.
like they could have throughout the season. My biggest problem is they rush this concept of what the future looks like. I think we get
Yeah.
to points like getting to the Federation too soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think things are well too soon. I think you could have really had some fun here and truly taken time to explore this universe. And I don't think we should have met season one should have ended with just how. I mean, season three should have ended with just how season one ended, meeting running into the Enterprise. Season three ends with us pulling up to
The Federation
the
doorstep.
Federation headquarters, and
Yeah.
that's it. And that's it. They rushed it too much because for
Because
whatever.
they had to set up another big bad, and they had to set up another season long mystery, which this would become the season long mystery. I mean, we had it for season 2 with the sphere data and control.
Right.
And
Yep.
now we have it again with the burn and what caused the burn. And now you're mixing in another big bad with Osira and the Emerald Chain. And I think you're right. I think season 3 should have been more about the show's namesake, which is Discovery. Let's
Cover
discover.
this new. Yeah.
And wait, okay, we accidentally jumped to Trill. Okay, why? I thought Trill was part of the Federation. Why aren't they anymore? And maybe it should have been like getting pieces from different
Yep.
worlds,
Yep.
because they know in their universe they know roughly where all the planets are and everything. So, but I will say, episode 3, People of Earth, that should have been the feeling for the whole season. Like,
Yes. No. Yes.
they're
Yes.
like, oh yeah, let's jump to Earth. We're gonna go to Starfleet headquarters. Let's go. And all of a sudden, Earth's like,
It ain't what we thought it was. Yeah.
whoa, what? Why are they firing on us? We're a Federation ship. This is the heart of the Federation. Why do they have a defense screen? The feeling of season 3 should have been, they should have done that for everything. And
Yeah.
you could
Yeah. It
have
was right there.
you could have still had Unification 3,
Oh, there. You
but
don't
they
need. You don't
they
need a
jumped to
purpose to go.
Vulcan.
Right. You don't need a purpose to go there. You just come across it.
They jumped to
Yeah.
Vulcan
Yeah.
because maybe they don't have access to the Federation database yet. And so they don't know the history. And, here's an alternate version of Unification 3. They could have said, like, they could have jumped to Vulcan, and all of a sudden, Navarre's like, whoa, what the hell are you doing here without the Federation? Whoa, what? And they're like, oh, we're from the past. And like, quantum date our ship or whatever. And they're like, whoa, that's weird. You guys are right. Wait, Michael Burnham, you're Spock's sister.
Right.
What the hell is going on? It should have been like that.
A slowly unfolding, almost like how it was kind of in season 1. It just slowly.
Yes. It lets you experience the universe. But no, by episode, what is it, 4? They're at the Federation.
Yeah. So episode 2, Discovery comes through. I like that the knockout, the tribute to Star Trek 4. Nice little Easter egg there. Note, this might be the first real interaction between bridge crew members in the moment that we've gotten on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love Captain Saru. Reese getting the con. It's good leadership. Tilly's an engineer now, apparently. What do you think? What do you think about programmable matter as that gets introduced here?
I think it's cool. I think the future tech is cool. It only makes sense from a perspective of like the evolution of Starfleet. They've had replicators forever.
Nanobites and stuff, and
nanobots, all of that stuff. So why not have? I feel like reprogrammable matter is the next step. Things where your comm badge is a tricorder, comm badge, and transporter. Love that. Love this thing.
Yeah, I love that. That was cool.
Holographic, projectionable displays that are interactive, like control interfaces that are fully integrated. And they mention that, like when Discovery gets refit. And I love the future tech and things that Book uses, like his ship can completely morph and like change. I don't understand floating nacelles.
It gives me Star Wars. Unfortunately, some things of season 3 give me Star Wars. Book ship and some of the designs give me.
Is that bad though? Like it certainly makes for cool, like fast-paced action.
On one hand, no. On one hand, yes. I'm not as I don't know how I always feel about it. To be honest, I don't know. Like, but there's just something like, this is giving me that kind of modern Star Wars era, that kind of rogueness of it. But like I said, I wouldn't have minded because, like I said, unfortunately, end of season 2 they're joined. Season 3 we get Burnham struggling with her place back, talking about this gap year, and I'm confused because she's been with this crew maybe a year. She was away for maybe a year.
Right.
The way she's talking, you'd think they've been together for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Now, granted, maybe Saru and a couple of them from the Shenzhou days.
Yeah.
But she acting like this. They acting like this crew family, and y'all been together for a year.
Maybe a year and a half.
Maybe, if that. So she'd been away for just as much time as she was with y'all. And it's a weird dilemma that it would seem more natural if we maybe had seen some of this gap year and seen her having to change outside of this cool ass montage of that hair change, because definitely better hair for Burnham with the braids.
Yes.
But it would have been interesting to see some of that gap.
And
especially the way they continue to play with her and Book throughout the show. It's like it'd be nice if when they call out some of these things, we saw a little bit of that, or I remember some of that.
And it's a lot of telling and not showing, and that's always bad storytelling. And I felt like they were so interested in just doing another season-long mystery that they didn't stop to be like, okay, I get it in a sense that, they want to say that, because of how they arrived into the future, there is that gap. And they did that they basically did it as a shortcut to change Michael as well.
Yeah. To reset, blank slate. How do we need scared to be?
It doesn't feel earned when you do that.
No, it doesn't.
Because now, the Michael Burnham that I'm so used to it's like I don't even know her anymore. So it doesn't feel earned.
Oh, season four. I mean, episode four. I have the note. Is Vulcan Burnham just gone? Because
But then she's not, because she still uses things like the neck pinch
right,
and all that stuff. So I can see why, a lot of the politicized side of Star Trek, and how there were many, I'm sorry, chuds online that, were calling her like a Mary Sue and this and that. But kind of the writers wrote her that way in a way too. And I'm not trying to like fuel some debate. At the end of the day, I love Michael Burnham. I love her for what she represents in a new era of Star Trek. But man, they could have done so much better, because it's a gold mine of story. You have a year where you miss her life, and she's a courier. Once she's back on Discovery, it's like, I got my Starfleet suit on, I'm back in the groove. I never got to know Courier Burnham. I never got to know the buildup of the relationship with Book, from, whoa, I completely don't trust you at all, but you're
what
my
made
ticket
y'all?
out
What
of
made
here,
y'all want to be together?
to,
Yeah.
And I will say that I'm glad that Discovery is 13 episodes, because this trend gets worse, because Strange New Worlds is only 10.
Yeah. I
And
can't. I can't let you off your last point yet. First, though,
okay,
I
sure.
can't let you
Sorry.
off your last point here, because yeah, okay. This is one of the dilemmas that my folk had with this show. Is that it
Yeah,
is
fully go
is
into it, and I
is
don't, I'm not trying to avoid that at
no,
all.
and because we're caught in this balance of like it doesn't happen often,
No, it
and so when
doesn't.
it does, we have to support. But how do we support something when it is starts to become trash is a heavy word, but one of the notes I have here, and it's one of the constant disservice this show does to its lead, a black woman, its first black woman lead
Yep.
in the 2020s, late 2010s, by putting her in situations where her actions, thinking, and logic are constantly being questioned,
Questioned
and the character is right.
by Admiral Vance, by her getting
Saru, the
Saru, by her become, she was the second officer, and now or first officer, now she's not. And I mean, they do Burnham dirty.
dirty, dirty,
And
and it's just
why?
like
And why is it that to make the struggle that much greater? I'm sorry, but black people have struggled enough. You know what I mean?
and
Like,
that's
can you give her a win?
and it was just like literally like during this season three rewatch, I got to the middle. I was like, my God, it was like episode after episode after episode. Somebody is dealing with this woman in a condescending manner when she has the answer. Now, granted, I'm not like the character itself kind of makes some mistakes and stuff like that, which is I think is perfectly
Sure.
fine. But just the way it's always like, no, you can't be right, or no, there's like because at one point I had to know it's like they're doing the whole Starfleet don't fire first again, and it's like, have y'all not learned yet?
Right, right,
And
right,
she'd been
right.
here for a whole year. You just wanted to hand this woman the captaincy in the previous episode because she had been here, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, 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 we're not going to listen to you because that's not Starfleet or whatever. It's and then yes, all the trolls, and it puts us in this dynamic where we can't be honest about it because if we're being honest about it, it's like we're trying to tear it down and not support the that weight with this show was so fucking annoying.
And I definitely could see that as it was airing, and the social discourse around it, and then trying to navigate that in the 2020s. Here we are with like rising
The height of it.
fascism, and it's like Discovery came out at the best and simultaneously worst time.
Yeah.
Best in the message that it's trying to convey, that Star Trek always does, in a hopeful future, and that anyone can be a captain, that Star Trek can still be groundbreaking with the first black female lead of a show, And not only that, but first full-time black female captain,
Yep.
which is incredible. And that's what Discovery season 1 and 2 to the end of 3, when she finally gets the captain chair. And yet, what happens in season 4? She's questioned by the president of the
Questioned
Federation
again.
again.
Again. Again.
Again.
I was just like, my God. Like, and I don't think I picked up. I know you mentioned how this show is better bingeable. I don't think I didn't pick up on that as much, I think, week to week. But being able to, when some of these, you could get some of the tone, but really seeing how bad it was, like, my God, this was really back to back to back. Watching these episodes in a row with the notes was like, oh, wow. You were like, oh, let's kick her. Let's kick her again. Hey, next week, hey, should we kick Burnham again?
Let's kick
Sure.
Burnham again.
And it
Yeah.
was like, sheesh. Just why did you make some of these choices, Discovery?
I think it's because they didn't have any black. Well, they did have a couple black executive producers, but you know what I mean. Like get more women in the writing room. Get more people of color in the writing room.
I just needed somebody to question, like, should we be? You would think somebody in that time would slightly be aware.
Should we be doing
Should
this?
we be doing this? Should we really be doing this? Like, especially because not like this is it's a fresh show, but it's season 3 of a show. You already had some of that discourse before and already existing with seasons 1 and 2. Y'all really wanted to do that again. Congratulations. Um, so
And
yeah, yeah.
and that's what pains me about season 3, is because this show for seasons 1 and 2 was already going through the ringer online.
Yeah.
And now season 3 is your big, hey, we're going to the future, and so we're gonna, sidestep everyone's canon questions, and we'll get to reference all of Star Trek now. But also, why didn't you reset how you treat Michael Burnham?
Because again, episode 4, right then. Again, knowing the issues regarding the actor and response by the community, why are we putting this character in this situation?
Yep.
You
Well,
know?
I don't know what's going on with my
Woo!
video. It's doing some weird stuff. But also, to kind of add the fuel to like the online fire, you introduce a non-binary and transgender two characters, one non-binary that goes by they them
Eventually.
eventually, and a transgender male character. So not only and
Purposefully knowing the environment.
purposely knowing the environment, but it's also Star Trek trying to progress into the future and be relevant. And that is groundbreaking for that representation. But to do it in this environment, I mean, it needed to be done, but
I don't disagree.
it needed to be done, but they had to know the response that they would get in this political climate. Like they had to know what they were doing.
I'm even cool with that. If you know,
Yeah.
if you know, cool, kudos. Here's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
You wasted it. If
Yeah.
we're being honest, you wasted it. Now, being honest, me and Eric want to have a conversation with somebody who is of this community because neither he nor I are of this community. And
Right.
I have some questions, not in a bad way, just want to have we like to have conversation here, just how that community perceived that within this show. Because we're all talking about our experiences, reached out to some folk, nobody has responded yet. So if you'd like to, hey, holla at us.
Yeah, our social media is
Yeah.
there. Our messages are
Holla at us.
open. Because I would like to have an honest
Yeah.
conversation about it. Because I'm not. I can only,
Yeah.
as much of an ally as I can be, I can only speak on it so much, and that is not the perspective of
Right.
an LGBTQ plus person.
In my opinion, they wasted it because it feels like they put all the gay people in the corner
Oh,
with
absolutely.
Stamets, with Cruz, Culber, with Blue, and
And
Adira.
Adira, yep.
Like, and they talked about we wanted to have this happy family, and it's just kind of like,
Well, with Gray and Adira, you said,
yeah, sorry,
yeah,
Gray
yeah,
and Adira,
yeah.
and it was like, are we not going to have them really interact with anybody else in the crew? Really, like, it really became season three. Adira's arc is once she gets healed, or once they get healed, well, they or she at this moment,
Yeah,
they or she, yeah. So they once they get healed, or the memory unblockage on Trill, the story then becomes I see Gray. Some real cool character development would have been there. Explore that Trill thing because yes, we already are comfortable with that idea because we know based on Jadzia Dax and DS9, yes, you'll never get experiences.
we had
They're
seven
all
seasons of Trill.
they're all there. Cool.
Yep.
You want to portray it as if Adira is seeing them in a physical, in
And
space,
they
whatever.
already got in
Yeah,
that episode, they already
right.
got all the actors for all the hosts. You saw
Yeah.
them all line up together.
Yep.
So why not it instead of it just being about Gray and Gray, I mean that's valid because maybe he showed up more because they loved each other and that connection,
Well, that's what they never gave a
but they
reason.
never
They
explored it.
never gave a reason why Gray was so different, so special outside of them being
Was it
having a
because
relationship that
right? Was it because of the traumatic experience that they went through in the joining? Was it because of their connection as a couple? We don't know.
yeah, they never gave us anything there. And so for me, I viewed it as something wasted. Cause yeah, the way they do cause you could still have it play out, especially with the whole coming out thing mirroring the real life story.
Yeah.
That turn could have been great, an episode or something where they are dealing with all these past personalities or learning to recognize, because the memories were blocked. So now all of a sudden I'm dealing with all these memories. I'm overwhelmed. That could have been an amazing thing to understand how to comprehend all this and understand how it all lives within me. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'm not just she anymore. I'm them. I'm they. I'm they them. Like that could have been. You want to bring in that representation and tell those stories, cool, fit it within something that makes sense within the premise of the show. The whole problem with trying to do that representation through Gray's character was it was forced. It felt
Yep.
forced, and you never gave a good reason for it within the show itself, other than, hey, we wanted to do this.
And there was a gap in this season where Gray just disappeared.
Yeah, just
And
gone.
then when he came back, it wasn't like, hey, I went away because of this. It was just speculated on by Stamets, like, oh, he wants to give you more time. But all of a sudden, when they're on Su'Kal's planet, and the Hollow somehow
Registers what?
registers like a separate mind pattern. I don't. They just made
Nothing
it.
is ever explained.
They just made it seem like, oh, okay, now everyone can see him. But it wasn't like, hey, I'm sorry or this and that. It was just like, let's just continue with the story. There was a lot there that they could have
Oh,
done.
the heavy. I'm like, there's so much meat on that bone. You could have told some good stories, especially around the ideas of representation and identity and all that. Like, that's why you chose the Trill, because Trill has always kind of been linked to those communities.
Right.
There are some great stories they could have told, and especially in a way that
But
is
but
in a
but
more
but but but
straightforward way than
no.
the 90s and
But
whatnot.
but no, they had to bring in Osira and the Chain and
Yeah.
Su'Kal, and they just had to make another bad guy and another. Why can't you let the show reflect its namesake? Discover the future. You are here in a 900 years in the future, and you're stuck here, and you have to figure out. It could have been like Voyager in a way of them trying to explore a new quadrant to get home.
Right.
Now this time is forced to be your home, so why don't you discover, like the name of your show, Discovery, discover your place in this future? And but no, they had to do another season long bad guy. They had to do another season long mystery, and I think that's where now when I did my binge of season three,
Hmm.
um, when it's all compacted and you're watching it in the course of a week or a few days rather than 3 months, like
It's a little
you're
better. It's a little better.
it's a little better, but I just wanted more episodes like seasons or like episodes 3 and 4 of the season. Earth, Trill. Then you could still do Unification 3, go to Vulcan Navarre.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And like they do explain, Sakal with like, being born and the genetic and all that blah blah blah.
And the trauma of losing your mother at that moment.
And I get that, and it was emotional seeing that at the end, especially that last episode with Saru trying to connect with him. But here we go again. It's like, oh, it had to be a Kelpian because we got to pull out more story from Saru, and we got to get him off the captain of the Discovery because that's
Gotta
Michael's
give
position.
reason. Yeah, gotta give reason.
So I just think season 3 could have been explored so much more differently. Like I
Season season three should have literally been seasons 3 and 4.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you could literally pick up at season 5 if you wanted to. Right there. With the same story. No difference. Um, because
But yeah, I mean like by episode 5,
we're at the Federation.
right at the Federation, and you're in a 13 episode season, which now we don't have anymore
Right.
because season 5 of this show was 10
10, yep.
episodes, and then that set the precedent for Strange New Worlds, which now is 10
Well, no,
episodes.
it was them getting in precedent within everything else because you had Picard being 10,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Lower
yeah.
Decks being 10. They were getting in line. Discovery was getting in line with
Well,
everything else.
and that's the theme. We're getting into this age. We're neck deep in the age of streaming, and now every show is 8 or 10 episodes, not just sci-fi. And so, unless you're doing, and so it's almost like they're forced to do these season-long arcs. But it's just it feels not that natural for Star Trek because 95% of Star Trek has been episodic. You know what I mean? And I know D Space Nine was more seated and stuff, but do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do. I don't want to go too deep into this now because I will
Because we could
contradict
talk
myself.
about. Oh, okay.
Because with this, yes, the question is
But I
like
feel
what
like
that like.
Discovery is the start ish of all this because
Yes, yes, yes.
seasons 3, 4, and 5, like all the other Star Trek Paramount Plus shows, aside from Lower Decks, haven't got 5 seasons. You know what I mean? And Strange New Worlds will, but I feel like that's the post figuring all this out.
Here's how I'll say it.
Okay.
For some reason, Discovery and some of the other shows have an issue with storytelling. The story doesn't quite make sense, especially for it to be Star Trek. You can't question the whole franchise of that during this time because there are examples of it being done exceedingly well. That's all I'm going to say right now. And it's a big
Yes.
question. It's a big question that maybe the franchise should ask itself. And I guess it's a question I'll ask here. Does the cost of the show become too much of a problem for a show like Star Trek? Because everything we hear about with these 10 episode seasons and whatnot and short seasons is all because it costs so much to make these shows and the technical and special effects. And Discovery definitely gives you that cinema-esque vibe. But does Star Trek need all that? Is
I
there a way to, like,
I don't
We don't
think it
necessarily need to go
does.
back to TNG, Deep Space Nine
No,
type,
we
but
don't need
we
cardboard
have to
sets
show
and yeah.
everything. Like, is there a point where, okay, we can get a couple more? I don't know, but it's a question I have because sometimes I feel like, especially with Discovery, is you were trying to do too much because you could, because the tech was there. And I feel like sometimes that takes
Because
away.
it was the flagship show for Star Trek Paramount
Right.
Plus.
Yeah. Like you doing too much.
And I'll agree with that because Discovery is rife with visual effects that piss me the
Oh,
fudge off that do not need to be shown. Turbo lifts with empty chasms of empty
oh.
nothingness.
Oh, the empty Discovery
My
and
God, you don't need to show that.
and you know
You
they spent
don't.
some money on that.
And for what? For what? God, it was
And
right in the finale of season 3 too, and I'm just like, it pissed me off all over. And a shuttle bay door that never seems to close throughout its 5-year journey. Discovery
force
never
field, all of yeah.
never closes that damn door. Another thing that kind of pissed me off. That we're in a dangerous solar corona. Then close the damn shuttle bay door. It has one because we've seen it close like 3 times on this show.
Well, you know that's a good chunk. That could be like 40% of the show, at this point. And the ship porn was bad. It's one of the things that gets on my nerve about this era of the Federation a little bit. These ship designs are pretty simple and minimalistic, and they don't always get rendered in a clear way that I can truly tell what it is. It is one of the most annoying things for me with this show, especially moments where it's like, oh, you're flying into the headquarters, you're calling out ship names, and oh, we see a little shadow over here. We get a little good, but we never get
So
really true, clear.
so counterpoint, it does look like dookie garbage on streaming, but when I popped in that
It's,
Blu-ray,
it's better.
it's better because they had that whole fight inside the
Yep.
Federation bubble and it was all clearly rendered. I don't know if they cleaned this stuff up for the Blu-ray or what. And I did notice something in season 3 that they did clean up on streaming because during the original broadcast, when they had it was in a TNG-1 uniform with
With
the
the stripe,
pips
yep.
with the stripe going that, but it had a Voyager com badge because I remember people pointed out when it aired on streaming now, he has the correct TNG badge and it's on the Blu-ray.
Mm.
So they're able to correct things later, but it's something you shouldn't have to do
Yeah.
when you're spending this much money and taking this much time to craft these effects.
Yeah.
And I will counter you on some of that because I love all of the beauty shots that Discovery gets. That is a
Oh, Discovery,
beautiful
Discovery
freaking
gets the money goes to Discovery. There's no
Oh,
question.
Discovery, yeah, yeah. But the
Discovery,
rest of the
Discovery.
ships is like,
Yeah, it's the other ships and stuff that's kind of like, especially because it's like, oh, this is the first chance to really get a sense of what this era might feel and look like. The ships are a big part of that,
and you
and you don't
only
quite.
get to see them briefly on the view screen
Yep,
or at a distance in a dark nebula
yep.
ish.
You don't get that. You don't get that. Even with the Voyager J, it's
Which
kind
I'm
of
like, oh,
yeah.
oh,
And it's an
Voyager.
inside joke that if you know, you know. They don't know. It was kind of like, let me see the ship, man. Like, let me see the ship.
And it sucks when you have to wait for like an Eagle Moss or Fan Home
Right.
model
The models
to
at
get
least
the
could be.
book with the actual clear renderings of it and then to hold the ship in your hand. That's why I subscribe to FanHome because now I can have, the Voyager A and like all that stuff. But well, that's Prodigy. Prodigy rendered everything great because it's Prodigy. Prodigy's awesome. Wish it got more seasons, but that's not what we're talking about.
We
But
will get there one
yeah,
day. We
yeah,
will get there one
one
day.
day, one day.
I think
And I have a badge for it too, so don't worry.
I think it's cool how when they are in the Federation HQ and the first time they don't know they're a secret. They think Starfleet has communicated this mission. Like they don't know that they were
Yes.
made essentially a secret and nobody knows about Discovery. They're like, oh yeah, they should be waiting for us. And they're like, so
Who the
Who
hell
are you guys? What's going on here?
Which I mean, it was designed that way in the show because they locked down Discovery and erased all records, which came to bite them in the ass this season
Right.
because they had to like explain themselves. But I kind of do like the thing where then they transformed and retrofit Discovery to look,
Makes sense.
and they brought it up to date with the technology. But again, that should have been something at the end of this season. That should have been like, okay, maybe get to the Federation in the second to last episode and then get all the cool fancy shit. Why couldn't we have spent time like trying to acclimate to this future universe with old tech? And now they're getting like pounded on because the only advantage that they have is the spore drive, and they still have like 23rd century weapons and
Yeah.
stuff. It could have been like a Voyager situation. It really could have.
Let's see here. Of course, you love the Enterprise tie-in with the Temporal War, which essentially is
Of
what the Romulan and
course.
TOS.
Yes.
Um,
What?
can we
Okay.
can we talk about the wasted potential that is?
Philippa Giorgio?
No,
Or
she's wasted too, but the guy she's talking to, who spoiler alert,
oh,
turns out
Kovich,
Kovic,
which turns out to be
Agent
Daniels.
Agent Daniels, who they do nothing with.
And well, part of that is because the actor he's more of like a super guest role.
Disco problem number however many, and
Super
Star
guest roles.
super guest roles, which Star Trek, not just Disco, Star Trek to an extent, Jet Reno, um,
Okay, Jet Reno, hold on. Because literally in this season, she shows up in the middle of the season and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing with my stuff?" And literally Stamets is like, "Where the hell have you been? I
Right,
haven't
where you?
seen you." And it's almost like a dumb meta joke at that point.
It is,
And the problem is, I love Jet Reno. I think she's awesome. I wanted to see more of her. But again, you get a really big actor or comedian in this
I only
case.
gave you 5 minutes every now and then.
Exactly. And that is one of the issues, yes.
Yeah. I do love that conversation between Daniels and Giorgio.
Oh my God.
That was,
So good.
yep.
So good. And just I I do like Philippa Giorgio because I like, first off, because I really like Michelle Yeoh and I think she's freaking awesome. But again, they couldn't hold on to her because she's Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. Right.
And I'll forever be grateful that Michelle Yeoh made her mark on Star Trek. And I do like the way that she went out. I do like that one. She got to go back to the, like that two-parter. I
Terra
think the
Firma?
highlight for me, Terra Firma, that was the highlight of this season. Because I loved what Discovery did with the Mirror Universe from season one. So to go back to that and see more of Mirror Giorgio's backstory and how she wanted to change things because of how she grew
Right.
being with Discovery, that's your good storytelling. And what did they do with that? They said, Guardian of Forever, which I flipped the F out when I saw that watching that live.
So what Discovery did here in this middle part of the season with Unification 3, with Terra Firma,
Yep.
and some of the Easter eggs that they are dropping in, or the way they are using canon,
Masterful.
great.
Masterful.
great. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't too fan servicey. It was like, oh, here's a thing that could work. Like that whole thing with Carl and the Guardian being like, yeah, they were using me. I had to get away. I had to go some like
Perfect. And it makes sense because he's literally a sentient time machine. So
Right.
what would become the most useful thing in the
Great.
temporal Cold War?
great character development
and
there.
and the
Great.
reveal of it, because he's all
Oh yeah.
mysterious and shoot, and you're like, what the hell is this guy? Is he like a Q? I thought when I was watching that the first time when it aired, I'm like, is this guy a Q? Like, what is this?
You knew
And
something's going on. You just don't know what it is. Yeah.
then the door, and I'm like, and then when it does the Guardian of, when it does the TOS connection, and that door explodes and reforms as
Oh,
the gateway. My God, the best
beautiful.
stuff ever. Here's the thing, though. Great send off for Giorgio, and I haven't seen Section 31. Complete shit payoff at the end, apparently, because I haven't seen Section 31. So, like, great setup and send off for Jojo, but then they completely waste that with this Section 31, whatever the crap. And the problem with that was it went from full season show to TV show or TV movie. And I hate that they're calling it that. Sometimes they call it like the 14th movie or whatever. Please shut the hell up. It is a TV special. It's not the 14th Star Trek movie.
No
Let's
way.
be real here. And I haven't even seen it yet. I'm just going off what everyone says it's crap. But what a disappointing end for. And I know we're not talking about Section 31. I'm just saying that in this season, they gave her great growth and a great send off. And they should have done that for more characters in this show.
It's the same issue that they have with this Discovery's issue itself. They can come up with some great scenarios. They just make the wrong turns in them and what they decide to explore. Like, oh, we got this great premise, but we're not going to explore it. Why the hell not? Like that's like I
That's
have one of
what we
those.
want.
Yeah, like one of the notes is like it's interesting what Discovery chooses to sit on. They love to sit on emotional based issues, i.e., the emotion is the entry into what's actually happening within the story, versus the story and plot giving entry for the emotion and character development. They do it the other way around because there is so much stuff that I'm like, yeah, it'd be great to have actually seen this. Or you're just giving us exposition. Well, no, that's the stuff we actually would like to see, and you just,
And
you know,
And that's why I agree with you that season 3 and 4 could have been like one thing, because throughout season 3, after Burnham reunites with Discovery, she's had this whole year with Book that we didn't see. That whole year should have been season 3.
yeah,
So that way, when you get to this season and her and Burnham and Book are always doing like, oh yeah, like that one time on Flippity Flop number 3, and then oh yeah, like in the whatever. Those references could have made sense if we actually saw them.
right, yeah.
What about Viridian 2, or what about like Flapjack Universe number 5? Like, show us your. Here's what it could have been. It could have been season 3 could have been a parallel story where
Oh yeah.
where all you see is Burnham and Book's adventures, and on the other side, spots of Discovery here and there. And so when they finally unite, that could have been the end
Feels earned.
of season 3. And then Burnham's like, I've been trying to search all year for the burn. And Discovery's like, yeah, we've been hopping around these planets. We don't know what the hell's going on. There's your season 4. And then you get to the Federation.
Yeah,
Like,
well-
make it feel earned.
Show us the interesting stuff. This is Star Trek. We want we want to see this stuff. Like, because there are so many times where they're trying to find the answer to something, or they produce the problem for like Stamets and Adira to solve, and we don't see none of the work. It's just all of a sudden, hey, here's your answer. We got to do this, do this, do this, this. Like, how did we get from A to B? Wait, that's the cool stuff. That's the stuff that makes this really sciencey fictiony.
And that's what irritates me too, is because as good as Terra Firma was, as good as Unification 3 was, it deals with these feelings that Michael Burnham has about her being in this place for a year and now not fitting back in with Starfleet, which is what she kind of went through in season 1 and 2, trying to find her place in Starfleet again. but because we never saw her journey as being a year on her own,
Yep.
we didn't see it. So it's an emotional disconnect for the main character of the show and us as an audience.
Certainly, certainly. Getting past this golden era because Unification 3 also being like literally the courtroom episode. We love a good courtroom episode when it
Love
comes to
it.
Star Trek. Use those trends. Yes, court, time travel. Give us all that. Alternate realities.
And
Love that stuff.
and my heart swelled when Burnham got to see who Spock became,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she got to see her beautiful use of the footage,
Hmm.
beautiful sentiment. She's proud of her brother. Like as soon as Admiral Vance said, "Oh well," and when Ambassador Spock, and you see Burnham, like, "Oh, he became an ambassador." Like all these like little things that
It raised the
it's
question for
yeah.
me. Does is Daniels the only one that knows about Spock?
Because he
Because they say in this
ooh
universe, Spock is dead. They know, and it's he died around this. It's not he was missing and no, he died. And
I
while we
think
know that he died in Beyond, but we know there was alternate universe, do they know what happened to Spock? And if anybody knows, I'm guessing Daniels would because he's aware of the Kelvin timeline because of
and because of Yor and
yeah, right.
because he's Daniels, and the temporal Cold War. My fan theory is that in our Prime universe, Spock is considered dead because he launched the red matter to stop the Novus
Mhm.
supernova, and I think the Prime universe considers him dead because of that, and that's why his death finally begins the process of uniting along with Picard because Picard helped save so many Romulans. We
Right.
find that out in Star Trek Picard. So I think the combination of Spock sacrificing himself. So in the Prime timeline, everyone thinks he's dead because he launched the red matter,
Right.
because he stopped the
So they had no idea
destroy.
he went to another universe and
Exactly. The only people who would know, which makes sense in Discovery, is Kovich or other time agents.
okay. Cool. Good. Just the question I had. One of the things I did like about this season, let's get into it. Admiral Vance.
You got
Yes.
Oded Fair, who
Yes.
is an incredible actor. And I wish I stuck around or had more time during Fan Fest Chicago because he was there. I would have stood in that line for hours just to say, dude, I loved you as Admiral Vance in Discovery. You killed it. Because he is so good in this.
Oh, he hits those stern moments. He hits teaching moments. He hits let's question this moments. He hits I understand, but this is how we got to do it moments. He hits hey, if you just ask me, we can make this happen moment. Like Vance is the standout new addition for me here, and
100%.
kills it at every
And
opportunity.
I am so glad that he is back for Academy.
There we go.
I cannot wait. I think Academy is going to be awesome, but we'll get there at some point. But yeah.
I will say the line in Terra Firma Part One, where I'm from, we were the prime and you were the mirror.
Oh,
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 oh, oh,
so good.
that's a burn. Oh, oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh yes, yeah. Giorgio's turn, incredible there. We say bye bye to Michelle Yeoh and Philippa Giorgio going who knows where. Well, we know, but Eric does not, and we will discover that next time on Star Trek from 60,000 light years.
Is that going to be our next episode? Or are we
No,
just
no,
going
no, no,
to?
no, 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 no,
Okay,
no.
okay.
I had to have the old school 90s tag like next time on GI. Whew.
I wish they did more of that. Like next time on. Yeah.
Needed, needed.
Anyways.
Let's see. We're getting to the back half here. So, like episode. Oh yeah, so much potential wasted. Yeah, episode 11. Adira and Gray stuff is a cool proposition, just explored terribly. Again, we see more science stuff being pushed to the back. Can we? No. Yeah, let's talk about Tilly a little bit. Let's
Okay.
talk about Tilly. Her character gets put in positions that I do not. Again, and ooh, oh, okay. I'm gonna be real with this real quick. I'm gonna just say it. It
Be
might get me in
real.
trouble. Tilly get low key a full Karen treatment by being projected into spaces she has not earned. While
Yeah.
you got another character, Burnham, being kicked down every time she gets, and it's just a weird disposition watching the two.
Mm, especially
Tilly,
when they're friends.
friends, and Tilly, who is a year and a half maybe into this thing, maybe started off as a cadet, and you're gonna fast track her already to this point to first officer, and she's not in. She's doing the command, but she's in the science divisions, but she's good enough to be first officer. And you've got all these other people who served on the bridge, and then eventually gets promoted. She's got to be the academy teachers. Like, what are her credentials? She
Right.
ain't done. And this is not like a judgment on the character's intelligence or anything like that, but it's just like what the show shows us ain't much for where she gets.
I mean, she has a faster career track than Captain Kirk. I mean,
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
yes. Especially when you compose it to the Forever Ensign who spent 7 years in the Delta Quadrant.
Man, they did Harry Kim so wrong in so
But
many
yeah,
ways. But yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it kind of points to this. We don't know what to do here. We got to
Oh,
figure out something.
100%.
And yeah, let's just do. Yeah, Tilly's gonna teach and become the greatest thing at the academy. She's been in Starfleet for a year
Yeah.
and is now 900 years into the future.
And, Saru's line about, and she brings up a good point. She's like, I didn't even finish the command track. And he's like, oh, well, you jumped 900 years in the future. Now, I mean, that makes you qualified. How? They all jumped 900 years in the future. Does Saru become admiral now
If
by that
anything, it makes
logic?
her less qualified because there's 900 years of shit that you don't know.
For all of them.
Like it's
And then, like, she's like, oh, Michael, you put me in a weird position and this and that. It's like, no, she didn't. You put yourself in that position.
yeah, yeah. And then there's moments. Okay, Tilly's first officer, but it's Burnham being the one raising questions. I was like, why isn't Tilly the one raising these questions if she's first officer? It's still Burnham acting in that same. It's they don't know what to do with the character, and it's one of the worst. And it become and I think the sad thing is, like I said, we go into this season with hope. There's hope. Okay, free strings. They gonna turn it around, and they don't, and it just keeps getting worse and worse.
And it becomes so apparent that they didn't know what to do with Tilly. And I get it. Mary Wiseman had some other commitments and stuff. And we'll get there with like season 4 or 5. Oh, I'll just say it right now. They didn't know what to do with half of this bridge crew because you got Owo in the finale of season 3 being like, oh, yeah, I knew how to hold my breath good because we did this back at, whatever. And it's like, cool.
Whoa, never heard
And
of that before.
like with like Reese, like technically he's like second officer because he takes the con before.
But one of those
We
early on, they make the intention of just like you talked about Pike in the introductions in season 2. Early on, you catch it every time somebody needs to go to the chair, it's specifically somebody else. And they make sure to point out, like, hey, Reese, you get it this time. Hey, you like it's never the same person. It's always calling out somebody else to take the chair. Who does what on this motherfucking ship? Is everybody the same rank or what? Like,
and it doesn't help because the ranks are on their badges
right,
that no one can
right.
see. And they, say their ranks, whenever. But the thing with that with these characters is, and I think partially the reason I fell out midway through season 4 was it was because of things like them not knowing what to do with Tilly.
Yeah.
And her leading all these cadets and having her own storyline, and now she's leaving Discovery because she feels she can make a difference elsewhere. Cool, but I don't care.
I
And
don't
that,
think you're qualified.
yeah, I don't think you're qualified to lead cadets because while while in the show it may only be like 1 or 2 years that have passed, in universe or in the real world like 5 years have passed, and you know people's physical appearances also change, which is whatever. But Tilly is just like they didn't know what to do with her because they fast tracked her from cadet to ensign, but now first officer. It was weird.
Well, you literally brought in Tilly 2.0 with Adira.
And then the two of them bouncing off each other is it was like there were scenes like that. And but yeah, they had to introduce Stamets prodigy genius partner 2.0.
Who you then did nothing with as the show continued on. Let's see. So yeah, we get to the end of season three, and the whole it's just a like yeah, it's just a bummer. Getting into season four, um,
We're just moving around.
we're just moving on. We're just moving on.
And season three did end in a bummer. I mean, the circumstances of Sakal, a kid who was basically abandoned for almost 100 years. And first off, dude looks good for over 100. I didn't know that Kelpians live that long,
That
but
one
I
in that
guess
rocking
they
chair,
do.
one with the rocking chair with the beard. Oh yeah, he was
So is he
the
like
elder.
300 years old? I
Who
mean,
knows?
are
Who
they
knows?
like Vulcan? We don't know because they don't know because they didn't know.
They don't tell us nothing. We hear this. Okay, here's the Saru being human. Not Saru. Sorry, Doug Jones being human, being able to play a human in the holodeck.
I did like what they did
I'm not
with
mad
the
at that.
Hollow. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not mad at that, but
yeah, yeah.
it starts to become a trend where we hear from Trek producers all the time. We want to give our actors something to do, which I hate. How about
Wait,
you just give them a good
good
script,
story.
good story, and they'll do something with it? Because we're hearing that a lot lately with this current iteration of Trek, where we want to give these actors something
Oh
to
yeah,
do. They're having fun, but you're making bad stories. It's like,
and I get it. Like in previous Star Trek shows, when you had the benefit of 26 episode seasons, you could have those character focus episodes.
or the kooky holodeck episode to have fun. And it's like, yeah,
But you can't do that in a 10 episode or 13 episode series when you literally cut a traditional Star Trek season in half. One of the first things to go are character centric stories. You would never get a Data's Day in
no,
Discovery
no,
because you're burning one of 9 episodes or one of 10 episodes on a single character. You couldn't do that. You can't do that in the streaming era. So either you lessen the bridge crew or you do what Discovery does and just like make half of your bridge crew irrelevant, and then they're randomly spouting facts about themselves in the middle of missions. No one cares. And
one of the
I couldn't tell you Lieutenant Nielsen from Ion or whatever her last name in the third one that showed up. Literally, we were eating dinner and watching this finale, and Teresa's like, "Wait, who was that with the rest of the bridge crew?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And they say her name towards the end, but it's like I already forgot who you are.
you're nobody, and the show has made it clear that you are nobody.
Yeah.
Because here's the note for episode 12. It only took 41 episodes, but hey, the bridge crew is finally getting into the action. But anyway, that's season three. Season four, big hand clap, colored uniforms. Yes, thank you. for
Yeah,
colored uniforms.
yeah.
It looks like Star Trek.
Yeah, someone saw that end of season 3 bridge shot and were like, "Ooh, where'd the color go?" And they literally just reversed the colors on those. And thank God they did, because I think those are awesome
Oh,
suits.
those those uniforms are
Clean.
clean, clean. I'm not the biggest fan of the kind of trifold thing with the with the flat being a
Sure,
bit.
sure, sure.
I beyond
But they're
that,
clean.
they are clean and just it showed the importance of Star Trek needing that color because like yeah, Discovery is not as dark as Picard, but it's a little dim.
Well,
But
it's
just those
like
uniforms just brighten it up. I look at it and I'm like, yep, that's Star Trek.
because the modern set building, it's all metal and
Yeah.
cool and made for widescreen. And you're right, the season 4 uniforms give that color, and they're so good. Like, I love that most of the bridge crew is wearing yellow because they're either ops or whatever. But
Yeah, nobody else is in red outside of Saru.
yeah,
Nobody
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. And
It's super.
I'll say Saru looks good in red.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
And
worked.
Burnham looks great in red.
Like I said,
Yeah.
them uniforms tip top. Again, it's engineering, and Stamets is the engineer. Apparently, in this episode, I don't know. They keep going back and forth. We had the question, why? What makes
And they
Blue so
and
special? They need the body. It's
and they
like,
ejected the warp core at the end of season
oh
3,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
in
they
the
did.
middle of another void, and I'm like,
Right,
you guys don't know what you're doing
and
or
that
how
was the
the
longest warp core I think I have ever seen. That thing was
and there's no reason for it to, like, because it
bounce on
bounce.
the walls. Yeah, there's no.
What are you doing? It's all magnetic constriction. Like, that thing just shoot out of there like a torpedo. Anyway, sorry. I'm
Okay, you're fine. Let's see.
they needed Doug Drexler on Discovery. That's all I'll say.
Disco du Disco too much does stuff because we need it for a certain situation to happen. That's the next note right there. That's always, hey, we need this to happen. Let's make it happen. Um, they're debating and talking about a mission, and I feel like they'll spend 10 minutes on the emotion, knowing what they need to do, and we'll just talk about it forever and not get to it. We got the Picard reference with the whole fake body again.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, that's where I stopped doing notes because season 4 just becomes a bummer with the whole story of
The
Book becoming a
10C.
bad guy, the 10C, and
It is a bummer, because this is one of the seasons that they only took like a month in the middle of the season
so
to
at this
do.
point, we are all COVID is affecting. Season 3
Oh yeah.
essentially dealing with COVID a lot. They wanted to represent that, the whole change the way we communicate, and then yeah, they did 4 and 5 back to back.
They did 4 and 5 back to back, but this whole thing with the 10C, and the president is like a real bummer in the beginning, like, and
Yeah.
again, another person just kicking Michael down and questioning her captaincy, when by this point Burnham has earned it.
At what point does she not get questioned?
Right.
Which again, we see she is the captain. She's doing it. She's done. She saved the world a couple times
And
now.
she's even telling President Rillick, "What am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not good enough for you? Like, trust that this is a special ship, so use us and use me and my experience. Like, why are you questioning me all the time?
Right.
To teach him a lesson about command. Come on."
One of the things I noticed at some point. Oh, so one of the last notes when they're bringing Gray back. I started to pick up a lot during Discovery is there's weird cuts with the transitions. It gives you the feeling there's a lot of stuff they didn't exclude. Because then there's moments where like, wait, did we miss something here? Did I miss something here? Is there a scene missing? It's like, no, that was
So,
there. And you really can see like, okay, there's clearly some stuff that did not make it into the episode, which would help explain this a lot.
so when I did pop in that season 3 Blu-ray, in the menus, every episode had a deleted scene under it that you could select.
Mm-hmm.
every episode. You are a streaming show. You could make these episodes an hour and a half if you wanted to. Why are you cutting anything that's important to the story? You don't have time restrictions.
Makes no sense.
Why is
No.
there any deleted scene? It should be all be seen.
Oh,
So, needless to say, I need to go back in my Blu-rays and watch every deleted scene from these seasons because I haven't. I haven't done that.
wow. Yeah, that's wild that every episode has one.
It was like almost every episode.
How do you
Even the
feel?
finale. And the finale of season 3 was already like an hour and 5 minutes
Oh, yeah,
long.
it's pretty
And
good.
it still had a deleted scene note under it. I'm like, what are you cutting out?
Oh,
I
Discovery.
I only get passionate and this worked up because I can see where there's missed potential in Discovery.
Oh, easily, easily. Like take
And
the whole
it frustrates me.
the 10C was yet another great setup.
It was
Okay,
a
let's
great
just-
concept. You finally
concept.
have a fully alien, non-corporeal, weirdly corporeal, different kind of corporeal, different communication. The premise of season 4, amazing. Trying to find a new communication way with a species that we don't understand. We initially think it's some big galactic like phenomenon and it's a sciency thing, but then it's like a godly extra galactic kind of species, and they
It's
even
new.
mention it's
Strange,
new.
maybe. Strange, even possibly.
Strange. New civilizations.
Possibly, yeah.
And they even do things that continue, like the galactic barrier. There an episode here called the galactic barrier?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
the galactic barrier.
that's where the 10C are. So you are again another premise that would have worked is Discovery is now further than any
Ship
ship has
ever.
been because we are past the galactic barrier. What is this new frontier? That's our new mission. Explore this new frontier with a whole bunch of new
Womp
stuff.
womp. But no, they literally leave it to like, the back third of the season.
Well, I think it's like the last two early.
Well, the galactic barrier is episode 10. That's why I
Okay,
say
yeah,
the
yeah.
But I season 4, it's a good premise in terms of a weird new alien. We need to use our brains more to figure out what the hell this is.
Mm-hmm.
But to get there, they had to make Book a bad rogue person because they blow up his planet. Why do we need to blow up Quajon? Why?
Because you had to give the character something to do because it's Michael Burnham's boyfriend, but he doesn't want to join Starfleet, and so we really don't have a true purpose for him. So we got to give him something to do because he's also being played by David Ajala. We're not going to lose him, so we have to give him something to do.
They could have done more. They could have done it better.
Anyway, let's get to some good stuff because
Yeah,
season five pissed me off.
All right, but wait, I do
Okay,
want to say,
sorry,
I do
go.
want to say, David Ajala as Booker, as Book. I think he is a great actor, and
Agreed.
I
Agreed.
love his chemistry with Burnham. Like I love their chemistry. I wish it was
Yes,
explored
yes.
more in that maybe a year of them, as couriers or whatever. But I love how both actors play off of each other, and it feels like a real emotional relationship. And
It's definitely emotional, that's for sure.
there's a lot of emotion, but that's Discovery in a nutshell.
Right.
But I feel like season 4 turning him into like a foil, like it just feels so tropey, like boyfriend is now bad guy. And I didn't really like that. But I did like the character of shoot, what's his name? That partnered with
The other engineer. Let me pull up my list of characters here.
Tarka.
Yep, yep.
And I liked it because he wasn't a villain for villain's sake. He just had a different idea of how to go about things. And he had his own agenda, but he wasn't necessarily like a mustache twirling bad guy. He just wanted, again, the emotional aspect of Discovery. He just wanted to connect back with. But I, I don't know. I liked the character in terms of like his attitude, how abrasive he was, and people going like, "What the? Why are you such an asshole?"
Yeah, no, yeah, it works. It works. Yeah,
and
that aspect worked.
and and the fact that he was Ryzen, and we've never seen like Ryzen scientists like
No,
that. Like you're from a hedonistic planet, and you decide to go, "No, I ain't all about that. I'm gonna be a scientist." Like that's interesting stuff that I wanted to know more about.
all the interesting stuff they don't show you. That's Discovery's main.
Show me, don't tell me.
They don't show you, and they do that for stunts. They'd rather show you some emotional stuff that somebody's crying or getting into somebody's feelings than actually showing you some science fiction and of what the show is. It's a soap opera in space at this point, and it just gets and like let me jump back real quick to season three because what you said real quick just made me remember.
Sure.
Fuck Paul Stamets. You are a Starfleet officer crying and throwing a fit because they had to leave. And Culber and Adira and Gray essentially were all on that planet in danger. And you are throwing a fit, ready to risk everybody for
It's
these couple of people as a Starfleet officer. What the? No,
and I
no.
completely agree because well, here's the thing with Stamets. He I think was more concerned about his science project than being a Starfleet officer. It felt like being a Starfleet officer was secondary
Whenever it didn't suit him, sure.
whenever it didn't suit him. And that is not a good Starfleet officer. And there have been countless Starfleet officers that have family also in Starfleet and not in Starfleet. Enterprise D was full of families. Most of the time, at the end of the day, duty comes first if you're a Starfleet officer. So much so that Geordi's parents were like both admirals and captains,
Yep.
and he had a crappy childhood, and
Oh,
he had some mom and dad issues.
certainly, certainly.
But here's the thing, like Stamets, you are literally by that point because we didn't know that Book could you
Right.
also use the spore drive, but literally you are the only person with tardigrade DNA that can activate the spore drive, which Starfleet and this new Federation tells you the Discovery has become the most important thing in our back pocket because you're an instant teleport away from anything.
Yep.
You are the rapid response. So, since you are the only person that can operate this, we have to protect you. And I get it. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose your
Your family.
partner.
Your family.
You don't want to lose your family. I don't want to lose my family. I don't want to lose the people important in my life. But when you're literally the person who is the only one that can operate this technology on a ship that the Federation of this future desperately needs to reconnect the Federation, please get the fuck over yourself and do your duty
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Starfleet.
He was crying like a little baby, and that got on my nerves. That got on my damn nerves.
It was so tropey. It felt like a big trope.
Speaking of semi tropes, you got the gratuitous cameo at the end of season four. by Stacey Abrams, which, regardless of how you feel about it, I'm fully in support. But it's just like, come on, Star Trek, we don't need to do that. We don't need
And
to do that.
it just feels like it gave more fuel to people who already
Right.
hated Discovery.
Already
You're
hating.
already stoking those flames and putting on, especially after she lost the election.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're trying to ram some things down. It's like, be a little smarter. Be a little smarter. Not mad at the representation, not mad at the
No,
stories you're attempting to tell, but
no,
just tell them better. Just tell them better.
I'm not mad at the cameo, but even I had to eye roll because I knew that the online trolls and the dregs of Facebook would use that as fuel. Like all the Comics Gator YouTubes and all the like it just became more fuel for them. And it sucks because you want to support Discovery because of the progressive things it's doing, but you can't enjoy it because you feel like you're constantly battling other quote unquote fans of Star
Right.
Trek in this hostile social media political fueled world that we're in now. It is literally one of the most polarizing Star Treks in the history of the franchise.
And it's most deserved, and it did it to itself.
It did
It
it
did
to
it to
itself.
itself. But enough dumping on this show.
Sorry, sorry.
Let's no, you're fine, you're good. Let's shift the environment a little bit at least.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
see. Let's see how it happens. Let's talk about season 5, which pissed me the hell off
Now,
because
why? Because I kind of liked it a little bit.
I liked it, and because
Wait, it
watching
pissed you off
because,
because you liked it?
because watching it, they finally got it right.
But it was
And
at the very end.
at the very end, and we knew it was canceled. So it's not even like watching it, enjoying it, and then hoping for a
For
renewal
more.
or we see it again. No. We went into season 5 knowing that
Knowing
season
that it would be
5
the
was
end.
about to be the last, knowing that they had to rush an ending, and sitting there watching it like, my God, y'all, like season 5 was so good. They
It was good.
finally locked in a way that, okay, yep, it is the Burnham show. She's the captain. She's on the bridge interacting with the crew, and we are telling the story, and it worked for the damn season. Well,
And it works so well because one of the characters introduced is Rayner.
right.
And my God, what a son of a bitch that I would have liked to gone to know for 2 more seasons. Like legit, Discovery should have had 7 seasons, like a traditional TNG Voyage or whatever. Because you're right, this season it felt like they pulled it all together.
It was all there, character development. And here's one thing, because at this point, people are telling you it's about this crew. This crew matters. This crew mattered so much. Saru wasn't here for half the season. Awosakam and Detmer
Oh,
were never there. Like
oh my
they
God.
they're trying to tell us it's about the crew, and the show worked when the crew wasn't there.
So that is one of my biggest gripes about this season is because Paramount Plus canceled this show and they said, "Yep, season 5 is going to be its last." So as an audience, you're like, "Oh man, this is it." And they burned through these episodes in 2 months.
Yeah,
2 months last year.
came and went.
April 4th through May 30th, shotgun, you done. And they did the 2 episode premiere. So you already burn a fifth of your season
Really, you're
on
down to
one
nine.
day.
9 episodes, really.
Yeah. And it just pains me because you get more Kovich, and I like Kovich, and you find out he's Daniels, and you're like, WTF, I could have had 2 seasons more of you knowing that
Great.
you were Daniels.
You show me a great world, and you're not going to play in it. Fuck you.
Rayner.
You.
Rayner was awesome because he is from a new species that we don't know about, So we have to discover his culture through the events of this season. And he becomes such a great foil for Michael because he's a demoted captain who
We've
is
never
now a
seen
commander.
before like that. Never seen before like that.
Never seen before like that. I love the way he was introduced. I love how this season's mystery kicked off. And this was the season mystery that I liked because it connected to freaking TNG and the preservers and the preserver technology. Or not the preservers. Yeah, the preservers, right?
No, the progenitors, right?
Pre- I thought it was preservers.
Ah,
But
so now I'm having a brain. Oh, where is it? Boop 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 boop. Development writing cat. It's the
but but this is
progenitor. Yeah, progenitors.
yeah. But it ties in, and we get like the Romulan scientist who was in that TNG episode.
Yep.
You get this mystery. You get Denobulans mentioned again. You get the Badlands again. You get the freaking Breen as an antagonist. You find out more about. It's just I think this season had so much because it fully took advantage of past Star Trek because they were in the future.
It finally did what we've been asking a lot of Trek to do. Is it took the torch and not the TOS torch,
The
but
TNG,
the
the
TNG
Voyager, the
DS9 Voyager
Enterprise.
Enterprise torch. That okay, like level two. We've seen enough of taking that level one torch and passing it on. That's been
Right.
done. What we haven't seen is enough of that level two going to level three. And so this, like Unification 3, was a perfect example of we're taking this something from here and expanding it further. And it was great because we knew what the basis of it was,
Yeah.
but you didn't quite know where it was going. And so that was cool too. Is you people were guessing, well, what is this going to lead to? What is it going to be? What is it going to do? Don't know, but it was a great ride. Versus, well, okay, we know the DNG going to be, they're going to get out there, they're going to find, it's the big old bad thing. You never knew what this was going to be.
And what I liked about this season was while they had bad guys and they did have a season expanding mystery, it was done in what I've always wanted Star Trek to do, especially what the old movies did, like the motion picture. There's something bigger than us that appears godlike, and we don't understand it. Something that's purely ancient. And I really liked how the clues connected. Like you get, and it's like a mystery through time, and that connected back to Discovery because they are a ship out of time, and now they're trying to discover the past to solve this mystery. And it really sucks because just as Discovery is finally finding its time, they pull it out from us by canceling the show. And things like a Woshikun and Detmer leaving on the Defiant. Oh, we got to
Right.
tow this thing back to the Federation, and you'll never see us again. And so for the final episode, you just see like the backs of their characters, and
Yeah,
they're
like some
like
bad
barely there,
CGI and stuff in that.
bad
Yeah.
crap. And it was little things like that that just showed the cracks to me that Discovery had as a whole.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, things with, I mean, Saru being pretty much gone half the season because he's in ambassador role. Why are you wasting Doug Jones? And
Tilly was hardly there.
Tilly was barely there, which
Again,
I don't mind. But it's like,
you could have switched out the crew every time for all I care, and maybe, who knows, play with the characters like that. But I think it was just one of those things where it was like people
but
who kept trying to hammer this crew was special. You gotta love this show because this crew was different. It's unique.
it
Yeah, they were
it's
different and
different
unique.
and special and unique. But as you got farther on, I mean, you replaced Reese with, or not Reese, Bryce. You
Hmm.
replaced Bryce with another, black guy that just felt weird. Like,
Hey, we got another one. Stick him in here.
yeah, and it's like, then why even bother? Like, just focus on a small crew. Focus on Burnham, on Saru, on Stamets, and actually, I loved what they did with Hugh. I love the evolution of his character into a more psychiatric role.
Just go Counselor Culber. Like make that an official turn. Like
And so focus on these core characters and make the bridge crew replaceable, because at that point in season 3 there was that big debate to keep the crew together because we're all
yeah,
lost out of time. And then they started drifting off in seasons 4 and 5 to do their own thing in this new time,
right.
which is natural. They
Very
can't
much
be
so.
stuck. They can't be stuck on Discovery forever. They got to live their lives. Tilly went off to Starfleet Command or Starfleet Academy. Like, Bryce went on another ship. Like, they're they're slowly going to drift apart. So why waste any more time on these secondary characters? I would have loved to have another season with Rayner. He was such an interesting foil to Burnham
He was a great other. Star Trek works best when you have
with the
some kind of
others.
other
And
to
and him
explore or
trying to
be a
connect
mirror.
with the crew and get over his.
And eventually finding his own way of doing it. Like, yeah,
Yes,
it was and
it was so good. I'm like, why didn't we have this in 3 and 4?
season 5 is literally the mirror for the show. Seasons 1 and 2 included to show that says like, yeah, we did a bad job setting this up because all the things we've pointed out throughout, like yeah, they took out some of the cast members. You thinned out some of the crews, so you had a more focused group that you were telling the story on.
Yeah.
This also gave you the chance to tell the story about the quote unquote bad guys, your foils. Like we got more with Maul and Locke, and
Oh
they're
my
like,
god, I
but we
love
got great
them.
character development with them to understand what is going on
Yes.
in this pull and play. Like
and
it's
they
yeah.
weren't just, they started out looking like typical bad guys, but
Hmm.
then you learn their motivations and their history, and you go deeper into the Breen culture, which we never did with Deep Space Nine, not to this
Brand new
level.
take. Yes, give us something new on something we know.
and and it was so cool to see those fate like mass again, but
Hmm.
then through Locke and Maul, you discover more about the Breen and their society, and that's what Star Trek is best at. Like, explore more of what you built in the past and make it fully fleshed out.
It's too much. We're too much now of the, hey, we had this thing from the past. Hey, look at it. Here it is. Okay, we're gonna put that away. Versus
And
this
that's
is
what Strange
have
New
it.
Worlds feels like, but
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
we'll get to that. And building upon it. Like one of the standout episodes of season 5 for me was the Face the Strange. That's episode 4, where it's Burnham and Rayner with this with the tired Trek trope of we're just going through different periods of time on the ship.
Yep.
But how they worked it, how they integrated it was different in a new way. That's, I guess, you're giving me the same thing. How many times have we seen this story? Every iteration of this
It
franchise pretty much has this story,
it
but you gave us a
reminded
different
me
way of it.
it reminded me of the Voyager episode where
Yep.
Chakotay is going
Yep.
through different parts of Voyager's timeline, and
Yep.
that was so good. That
Yep.
you're right. Face of Strange was an awesome episode,
Yep. I was like, that's great. That's how you take something and
and then the
build
next
upon it.
episode after that, Mirrors,
Oh,
again the Mirror Universe and the Defiant again.
which is a great callback because they did mention the Defiant when they went to in season 2, so it's great. Like it's almost like it's interesting. We have watched the Defiant story through a variety of different iterations of Trek, and it's kind of cool like to piece it together. Be like, okay, we finally know what happened to her. She got recovered in the Prime universe in this such and such a year, so she's sitting somewhere right now, but she's just
I
been
mean,
lost all this time.
it's crazy. I mean, it went from original series to Enterprise to Discovery. Like that's crazy.
Wild, wild. But yeah, yeah, season 5 was such a disappointment because it was so damn good, and knowing it was the end, like it was just like, why? Why?
And then they dare. I do love the epilogue that they were able to film at the end, but that felt like that should have been the season 7 finale. You know what I mean? When we
Man,
when we see more Michael and Book. And the thing that really ticked me off about the end was they had to shoehorn to the short trek connection.
yeah.
That
Again,
was so
they
stupid.
found themselves
In a
boxed
corner.
into a corner that they created by doing this thing that you had to retcon the
And
ship
that's
to be
and,
able
and
to
that's
fit
how
this.
they end the show,
Yeah.
which is a macrocosm for Discovery. They write themselves into corners.
Oh yeah, this it's crazy,
It
especially
was a
like I said,
bittersweet end. It
it's
was.
very much so bittersweet. Again, if it's the Michael Burnham show, that's a great cherry on the top. It's a great cherry on the top for her character, like that realization of, yeah, you've been on a journey, you've gotten here, great, loved it, but it'd just be nice to see a little bit more of it, and not be beat down the entire time. But it's crazy to see Discovery because of what it started off in this era, literally being the TOS of our time in a way. Because now, as we see, it created the world for Strange New Worlds to play in.
Yep.
It created the world which we're going to see what Academy is going to play in. Like, it's literally going to be the foundation for a bunch of different stuff, which is a little wild to think about as not widely celebrated the show, or not celebrated, but just kind of it's looked at like, yeah,
And then I
disco
was
is.
I was looking at Wikipedia and like for these 3 seasons, and all the critics love it. Like the online critics, like Rotten Tomatoes, it's got like 80s and 90s, but you wouldn't know that because the online discourse is so
So heavy,
much
yeah.
louder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate baggage that Discovery has. But because they opened up this 32nd century world, I'm excited to see some of those characters carry over in a new show, Starfleet Academy. I'm excited to see Admiral Vance again. I'm excited to see Jet Reno again. I'm excited to see the freaking Doctor from Voyager. So, but why couldn't we have some of that in Discovery? And that's the bittersweet part of it.
Yeah.
And here's something I just realized: because we only saw future Burnham, are we going to get an episode in Starfleet Academy with
I mean, why
Michael
not?
Burnham coming
Why
back?
not? If she got the time, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
it feels
And
like
and
because of,
she is on another CBS
right,
show right now, so it's
unfortunately, yeah.
possible.
It feels like because of the way they shoot these things, that guest star, where like okay, I'm thinking Kelsey Grammer, in TNG, that that type of thing. Like that's you're not getting that anymore just because of the way things are done and how they're produced, which I think is
Right.
tragic. Because yes, it would be great if Michael Burnham could pop up for a quick little thing right here because
Yeah.
yeah, she is still around. Why wouldn't she come to the academy? Like play with it, play with the character in this
But
space.
the weird thing is, and we've talked about Tilly a little bit because they her premise of like leading those cadets around and then talking about her trying to help restart up Starfleet Academy. But you know what? In all the promotional material and little trailers I've seen,
Nothing.
I don't see
Nothing.
her around at all. I don't know where Mary Wiseman is or what she's doing, but I don't think she
I, w-
is in
I wouldn't
Academy
be
at all.
surprised if she's on like the Jet Reno path. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what that energy is giving me. It's the same type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before we close it out, so just final thoughts on Discovery, sir. Yeah, I can't take a dump on this show anymore. I'm empty.
It's for me. It is one of the more polarizing Star Treks because when this show is good, it's damn good. But when it's bad, it's bad.
Mhm.
And so for me, it's a very love it but also hate it feeling.
Mhm.
And I don't mean hate it in a way like, oh man, this show just god damn it. But I try not to live too much in what ifs, and I know I talked about, well, what if they did this and what if they did that? Because what they made is what they've given us, and I have to judge it on that.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a lot of frustrating decisions that fueled online discourse that bled into my enjoyment of the series. I couldn't enjoy it fully for what it was because in the background, because I'm on social media.
Yeah.
I've been very much on social media for the past 20 years. And in this age of streaming, everything's a spoiler the second it comes out. Like if you don't watch it when it first comes out, good luck dodging that bullet the rest of the day. So there were a couple times where I was spoiled on things and I was like, fuck, I wish I was able to enjoy that fresh.
I feel like we know too much. We know at this point we know too much about the production process and as it's going. Like for example, right now they're filming the new Spider-Man movie. I know too damn much about that movie for them
Mm-hmm.
to just be filming it right now. And I feel like that's how it was what how it is with a lot of these shows, Trek and Kudo. Like we know all the special guest stars for the most part. We know where these things are going. Hell, it mentioned how while season four is airing, as season four started airing, season five was announced. So right
Yeah.
then you're now taking all the stakes out of season four of the show for me because I
And
already
it's
know you're
it's the
coming back for the
same
next one.
it's the same thing with Strange New Worlds. They've already announced that season 5 is going to be shorter and the end.
Yeah.
And we just finished season 3. I haven't watched the last 5 episodes of that because and I will before we review it, but man, it's just the streaming era of Trek being in the middle of social media really has taken some of my enjoyment out of it because and that's why I'm actually so excited for Starfleet Academy because I feel like I don't know anything. Like they've really kept that under wraps and I'm happy for that.
Don't know much. And if you take away the recent Strange New World season,
Sure.
my opinions on the franchise were on an uptick. This this was part of the end of Discovery was part of a stretch where I think we as Trek fans were kind of like, we'll take more of this. And so what that is, season three of Picard, then you had season five of Discovery, you had the end of Lower Decks, and you had Prodigy. Like it felt like, okay,
We're on
y'all,
track.
we're on a good track here. Y'all got some of them kooks out. Y'all got some of them
But
bugs
then
out. Y'all kind of figured it out. But then all of a sudden we had Strange New Worlds, and it's kind of like, what are you guys
oh
doing?
and
I was
then
feeling good, but now
and
not.
then oh, we
Oh,
canceled Prodigy and we're going to
right.
erase it from Paramount and it got dumped on Netflix and now it's no longer on
All the good
Netflix
stuff
and it's
ended.
gone.
Everything,
Lower Decks ended.
ended, and now it's like, okay, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
get off Academy in a second, just like yeah, it's like there's hope and there's also I don't know what to expect because we've seen good and bad, and right now we're on a little bad taste, so I don't know, but there's
I'm
hope.
cautiously optimistic about Starfleet Academy because they at least have enough faith in it to already be filming a second season. So obviously we're going to get at least 2 seasons of that.
Hmm.
And I do love that it's in the Discovery timeline because we get to play and see more of that universe, which I was really liking in Discovery.
It's new. We got a good base.
It's
Explore it.
new.
Please explore it. We ain't seen Klingons yet. We ain't seen Cardassians.
And now we're getting a Klingon, not only a
Yeah,
Klingon cadet, but also a Klingon Jem'Hadar hybrid. What? What's the story there?
I want to know. I want
Exactly.
to know.
And it's things like that that give me hope. But then you have a season like what we just had of Strange New Worlds, and it's like, guys, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, so
So
there's bated
it's
breath.
mixed. It's so mixed. And I don't want a mixed bad feeling going into the 60th anniversary of a show. That doesn't give me a lot of like good feeling tingles right now.
We have hope. The
We
hope that is in us. This is from 60,000 Light Years, a Star Trek podcast. Let's get to some fun stuff because, ooh, Discovery throws a lot at us. As you know here, we
oh
like to
man, we
rank.
we
We
gotta
like to
do
rank
the
things.
rank.
So,
Forgot.
uh, we are building a crew. So, is there anybody from the crew that you are going to add currently? Right now, your crew stands at you have Picard as captain, Riker first officer, Spock as science, O'Brien as your engineer, the Doctor as your CMO, Tom Paris as your helmsman, Data as your tactical ops, Odo security, Uhura on the comms, and Seven as your all-around utility gal, shall we say here. Are you adding anybody from Disco to your crew? And who would you be replacing?
Oh my god. Um, did I have someone as counselor?
We do not have a counselor position.
Legitimately, the only person I would add to my list from Discovery is Colbert as a counselor, not as a doctor.
There's nobody on this crew. Hell, I don't remember half the people on the bridge's names just because
That's
I
correct.
didn't spend enough time with you. Sorry. Series ranking. We both, yeah, we all, yeah. So you have
Oh
DS9,
God.
TNG, Voyager, Enterprise, TOS. I have DS9, TNG, TOS, Voyager, Enterprise. I'm gonna let you know right now, and this ain't gonna go, and this ain't gonna move on. This gonna be dead last for me. It's just of all the series, it is the most disappointing. Now, Strange New Worlds might beat that out, but
Right.
we'll see. But yeah, no, it just is what it is. There's just far too much. This could have been better. Y'all made some bad choices, and there's no other series prior to this that I felt that about.
Oh man. It's gonna have to go dead last for me too, because I'm sorry, but T original series will always beat out Disco, but I don't want to sound like one of those chuds online that's like, oh, the original series beats everything. No, I'm not saying that. I'm
No,
saying it
clearly
for
not. You got
I'm
that next to last. Clearly not.
yeah. This is true. On my list, Enterprise is above the original series. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a last place for me,
Yeah,
dog.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hero ship. Yeah, it's going to be the same thing for me here. The
Mm.
Discovery itself, there is a beauty in its simplicity and its sleekness and its longness, but as a whole, it just does not make sense. It is not a favorite ship design of mine. It's got some
We don't
beautiful
even
moments,
know
but
if the spore drive room is main engineering or not.
right, we don't see enough of that ship for me to really be like, yes, this is that ship, and it's a no for me, dog. She gonna be at the end for me too, probably throughout the rest of this. No surprise, if I'm just being honest.
I will also put the Discovery last.
Okay, okay.
But I will say I like I like future Discovery refit more than the original because we got some damn awesome beauty shots of that ship in seasons 3 through 5. And
Oh, they play with it.
I like the like I'll call it the fluorescent tubes around everywhere,
Uh,
like the blue fluorescent lines. I really like that, but I mean it's not going to beat out the classic 1701 for me. And Discovery is basically a reject Phase Two motion
right.
picture design. Like, come
Cool
on,
story behind it, but yeah, it
yeah.
just yeah. theme song. Is it worse than Faith of the Heart? That's the question.
To me, it is not.
Oh,
So I put it above Enterprise, but that still makes it second to last for me.
okay. Um, I can't stand it, to be honest. I'd rather listen to Faith of the Heart. I just,
Okay.
yeah, it's just something just never quite grasped me with that one. Okay.
There are parts of that theme, the little tingles and hints that I like, but yeah, it ekes out. I've got faith in the heart, and I love Faith of the Heart. I think, ironically, I do love it, but um, yeah,
Moving
flaws in
on
it
to
though.
uniforms. As of now, you
There's
have
too
the
many uniforms in Discovery
we
for me
we
to like. What
we'll talk.
uniform are we ranking?
We're gonna go. We'll call it Disco One, which is the blue, and then Disco
Disco
Two, which is
Two,
the
which is the
color.
color.
The
Ooh,
color.
okay.
You right now have it as the first contact DS9 at the top, followed by Voyager, Enterprise, the Monster Maroon, TNG, and then TOS. I have Voyager, that first contact DS9, Monster Maroon, TOS, TNG, Enterprise. So let's start with Disco One. Where are you throwing it?
Disco One. I will put that. Damn, this is hard.
It is 'cause surprising. Disco has clean outside that ugly behind collar. The uniform is pretty
Yeah,
clean.
they are clean. And the Disco 1 uniforms give me that between Enterprise and TOS evolution that I like. Oh, this is tough. But the Monster Maroon is so clean, and TNG is clean, and TOS is classic. I'm sorry, Disco 1 is dead last.
Okay. Disco One. Disco Blue.
Disco 2, I will put above TNG, but below Monster Maroon.
Okay. Okay.
So, and we'll just put Disco 2 color for that one.
Okay. That's quite the jump. Hmm.
It is a jump. I really like those Disco 2 season 4 and 5 uniforms.
They are clean, but it's almost they're too clean. Like there's something about that Enterprise uniform, that jumper that fits in with the previous iterations, and they
Sure.
still have the color and whatnot. I think if they didn't look as clean and still had the original colors, I would put it above Enterprise. But I'm with you right now. It's going to be dead last. Just because while it is clean, it does step out a little bit outside the box.
Understand. Yep.
Oh, that color is clean.
And you know what? The Disco 2 color uniforms, they didn't have any of that mini Delta shit
No, they
all
didn't.
over it.
They didn't. And I kind of like how at the bottom it's got the different it's the different lengths, so it gives it some dimension, but it just
Yeah.
still works. Am I really about to put it ahead? Yes, I am. I'm going to go behind you, just like you did with behind the Monster Maroon.
Oh, okay. Oh, you put it above TOS
So
too.
yeah, I put it, but yeah.
Ooh, I like
I think
that.
yeah, that'll do for now. Yeah,
Okay.
that'll do for now. We got a lot of uniforms coming up over these next couple
Oh my
iterations.
God, too many, too many.
Captains, Captain, are we doing two here, or are we just doing the one?
We need to do two because
Okay,
Captain Saru earned his goddamn captaincy,
okay.
and I
All right.
thought he was a good captain.
I'm right there with you. So we got two captains to add to the main crew
Yes,
list. Right now, you have it as Picard,
I
Cisco,
I
Janeway,
got I
Kirk,
got
Archer.
I got him right. You can't see it, but I got my Saru pop down there.
I have it as Cisco, Kirk, Picard, Janeway, Archer. Let's go with Saru first. Where are you throwing Saru?
Damn, this is hard for me to say as an Enterprise, but I'm gonna put him above Archer
Ooh, okay, that's a surprise. That's a surprise.
because even though we saw him as captain for 1.5 seasons, season half of season 2 and season 3, um, I thought that, and we didn't talk much about Saru as a captain, but I thought he was empathetic, but I also thought that he was decisive, and it was a big character growth from him considering where he started in season 1. So, plus, I'm biased. I love Doug Jones, and he's an awesome human being. So yeah, he's going above Archer for me.
I like him, but he's below Archer for me.
Okay,
There,
that's fine.
there are some moments during season 3 where it's like, Saru, come on, you can be a little better than that. You're being a little too cautious, or
Sure,
being a little
sure,
bit
I can
trying to
see
be
that.
too Starfleet. But no, I like him overall as a captain. There's no shade. Just
Yeah.
he wouldn't be the first. Where are you throwing the star of Star Trek Burnham, aka Captain Michael Burnham, in this captain's ranking?
Man, and she is a really good captain in season 5.
Without season 5, she definitely goes low. Season 5 is what gives her a little some weight.
But I like Archer more than her as a captain. And I hate to be the white guy who puts the black female captain last in this list, but there might be someone lower than her in a
Oh, that's
future.
that's certainly. I know some people lower. Yep.
So she is still in the running.
Mm,
So I will put her below
okay.
Captain Jonathan Archer.
Ooh, so the question is, do I like her more or less than Janeway?
Oh man, come on. This
Do I
should
like
be
her
such
more
an
or less than Archer? That's a good question too.
ooh.
Cause it's a little disappointing. Cause it's almost like
And it's almost unfair because we don't have multiple seasons of her
right.
as
It's
captain.
just this one real stretch where, guys, even as much as she is the captain during season 4, it's not the same free reign that it is throughout season
Right.
5, where it's really like season 5, it's like, yes, this is the USS
But
Discovery. It's
if we
captained by
got
Michael Burnham.
a full 7 seasons of Discovery, this might be a totally different conversation. But we don't. We're here.
I I like you. I'm going to put her under Archer and ahead of Saru though.
Okay. I'm not
That
mad
feels
at that.
yeah. It's just one of those things which is
But
not enough of a
wait,
record.
do we have a third captain in Giorgio? Or are we not? We're not
I
getting that in the weeds.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing Mirror
Okay.
Giorgio. Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't see enough of Mirror Giorgio as captain, low key, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Enterprises. Oh, we get off scot-free with this one.
Whew.
The bridge. Okay, it ain't this disco is dead last for me. Easy. The bridge. I can't stand the design of that thing. It is just too damn big. I would feel like I have to shout at you over on your other station to talk. That's an easy last place for me.
You know what? It's an easy last place for me too.
Movies, we ain't got none. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Wow. We done made
Wow.
it through Star Trek Discovery somehow. I don't feel as bad about it. It's a weird child
It's
in this franchise.
it's a weird child because not only did it serve the Voyager role of launching a new quote unquote network, in this case streaming service, I think it got shortchanged on seasons, and because of the nature of streaming, how many how many episodes total is Discovery? Like 70 or something?
Is it that? Let me see. I can tell you
I
too.
don't
It is
even
a
know.
total
50?
of 65 episodes.
And that's the other thing. We're dealing with 65 episodes compared to like 170 of TNG.
Over the same stretch of time, if you think about it, because literally it
Yeah,
was first released in September of 2017 and ended May of 2024. That's 7
years.
years.
And we
Literally the
only got
same
five
stretch as
seasons.
every show, and in that we only have 65 episodes.
And yeah, it's this whole new nature of streaming, and I think Discovery was the great experiment, but the times have changed as we talked about. It's a new century, to be clear. I mean, this is the 21st century, like Enterprise, was a little bit of that, but that was still the old way of television. And so Discovery is in this weird place, I think, for most of the Trek fandom.
It works best when it's viewed on its own,
Yeah.
but it's those issues of when it's compared to everything else because this is a large franchise, and also because at this time we've got several different iterations of Trek on at the same time. So you're seeing,
It's almost like Star Trek is competing with itself.
yeah, yeah, very much so, and it's trying to figure out how to work together in this weird strange. Because we'll talk about it more on some of these other
Yes.
iterations, but
Yes,
there's
we will.
literally points where they're all telling what seems to be the same damn story at the same damn time,
Oh, yeah.
and
And they've literally said in interviews, "Oh, well, we want to do something with this character, but we're already doing something with this
right,
character." Wesley Crusher.
yeah,
Um, and it's like you've got different creative creative people vying for different things, and then we'll get into it. But yeah, some of these sh- three shows basically telling one similar plot line
hmm,
of like evil computer ships taking over the fleet. So we'll get into all of that. This is a weird time for Trek.
it is, and we're still figuring it out, which is
But
also,
I will say Star Trek has never looked more beautiful or polished.
I mean, it's a clean show that the you see where the money is going.
Yeah.
There's no arguments there. It's just like another franchise that we both share a love in. The question facing a lot of the stuff is how do we move forward?
Yeah.
It looked like Star Trek was figuring that out towards the end of Discovery, but
And now
strangely,
we're in
yeah,
this weird place where
now
it's
yeah,
like now there's only two shows, and like we went from like five or six to like two. And so what is the future of Star Trek? How much more announcements are we going to get in the 60th anniversary? I don't know, especially under this administration and
this economy.
with this economy and with Paramount buckling to fascism. So yeah, hey,
Buckle up, interesting days ahead. We thank you for any time you have spent with us during this stretch. It is
I'm
much
sorry if
appreciated.
this seemed too
No,
negative.
no, no. We just keep it real. But again,
We're
we
keeping it
thank,
real.
we appreciate you. Like,
Yeah.
share, subscribe, join the crew. Check out any previous episodes if you haven't seen an iteration of a Star Trek series that aired before Discovery. Because next up is another roller coaster. We will be traveling to Star Trek Picard.
Oh man, this that's
Next up is
yep.
Picard. That's the who. Like Discovery, highs and lows. We will get into all of them. Until then, please take care of yourselves.
Yes.
Enjoy your Star Trek. That's all we
While
want.
we
That's
still
all
have
we
it.
wish for. Right. Get your physical media. My mom just asked me if I like some that she about to give me. I was like, yes, please send them down to me. I will take
I,
them.
I I need I
I need.
need to
I
just
need.
bite the bullet and accept that DS9 is never getting a remaster and just get the DVDs.
I see it in the store all the time. I'm just like
It's always
I
at
want
Walmart. I
I want
see
to
it
hold
in
on
every
hope. I
Walmart.
want to hold on hope, but yeah, I think I need to grab it. But yes, once again, thank you
I'm
for
I'm gonna personally
no
beam out with my personal transporter.
random. Is there a way to stop that? Because there's questions around personal transporters. If I was to put a creep hat on, how do you stop me from beating anywhere I'd want?
Let's just end it.
I'm just saying, okay. At ST from 60KLY, at Trekkie B47, at JClark787. Like, share, subscribe. We appreciate you. Spread the word. And until next time, live long and prosper. I'm gonna keep
Peace
asking questions. I
and
need to
long
know.
life.
I need to know. Is there a force field? Can you stop me from coming? Anyway, bye.
Bye.